Merry Christmas. I should like to tell you a story about my father. My father's name is Ariou. Who was Ariou? Ariou was born in 1929 and he was a mechanic, an engineer in boats. When he was still a rookie engineer, back then as it was military discipline inside the boats, it was used for rookies to do either the hardest tasks or the most tedious jobs. So, in one of his trips as a rookie, he was appointed the night shift at the car's engine. And the hours were long, and he was all alone over there, and all he had to do was some maintenance work, unless something occurred, which it rarely did. And so, one night, as he was all alone down there in the ship's guts, he was munching away his snack when he felt eyes behind him on his back, and the hairs on his neck rose. He slowly turned and he saw the most horrible, the most disgusting rat ever. It was huge, must have been a male. Not only was it a big rat, but also it must have had some sort of accident, maybe with, with oils from the machine, and he was burned. He had burnt spots all over his fur. There were parts missing, and he was a sore sight to look at. But my father, he had this soft spot for animals always. So what he did was, he took a bite, he took a small piece from his snack and threw it at the rat. And the rat at first scattered and hid behind some machinery, but then, apparently, he caught the smell and sniffing his way, he found this little piece of food which he took and hurried away to eat at his leisure. And then the rat came back. So Ariou threw another piece of food to him. And the same thing happened. Time after time, night after night, until the man and the hideous rat formed this kind of friendship. Well, it was not something Ariou could talk to the other sailors about, because, you were supposed to be this solid rock of a man in there. If you wanted to gain respect from the rest of the crew, you couldn't reveal your soft spots. So he did not talk about the rat or this kind of friendship between them with anyone. But every time he was on the night shift, the rat would come and wait for Ariou to throw him some food. And slowly, day by day, he would go just a tiny little bit closer to the man. The rat had started gaining confidence and feeling safe around that man. But one night, Ariou felt sick. And in those times, must have been late 40s, early 50s tops. Well, they did not have much medicine inside the boats on board. Maybe some aspirin or something. I doubt whether they had any antibiotics. So he was ill in his cabin. He spent some nights there with high fever, waiting for the cold, the illness to pass. And when his health was restored and he could go back to night shifts, the rat would come no more. The rat did not appear on the first night, or the second, or the third. So finally, Ariou had to ask the man that was replacing him during his illness whether he had seen any sort of rat going around the machinery in the cars, in the ship's engine. And the other sailor, he said, yes, yes, don't worry. I took care of him. I threw his carcass in the sea. He will not bother you any longer. Now, Argyris did not say anything. I suspect he might have cried a bit on his own in his cabin. But I do know he never forgot about his friend, the rat, because years later, after he had retired and he was safe at home with his family, me and my two sisters, and we were sitting in front of the stove on a winter night, Argyris told us the rat story. And it's bittersweet, it is a sad story, but I can't help but feel that poor creature, which most of us would have been disgusted at the mere sight of, for a little while he met kindness. And with that, I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This was Despina Ariou from Syros, Greece. Goodbye.